Good afternoon, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live here on our Patreon channel. And, I saw this video here that Brother Paul Bagley had put out. Secret space plane lands after 900 days and more. I thought this was kind of neat there. And, of course, now the video footage that's being shown in Paul's video is actually not that spacecraft. They're just showing one of the space shuttles actually landing there. And of course, when you listen to the broadcast, Paul doesn't know what this was about. What was it doing up there in space? They talk about what is revealed about what it was doing in space. And there's the actual aircraft itself landing instead of being a different aircraft there. And as you can see, it's not a very big aircraft. It's a small aircraft. And but there is that great mystery. What is this thing doing up in space for 900 days? And we actually know what it was doing up in space. And so I'm going to share that with you here. I think it'll be a real blessing for you to know those things. I don't know if it's a blessing or not, but just kind of an interesting thought there of why. But this particular spacecraft has been up working on what government insiders call a grid, a laser grid that's been setting up to deal with asteroids. Now, when I say asteroids, let's see here. Let me find. I got several different things I want to look at. I kind of did that for a little image for you, a little laser grid there. Of course, that's not what it actually is. But there are a number of issues. Like recently, we've had 5 asteroids entered the Earth's atmosphere that have not. They've really tried to cover it up. They've scrubbed them off the internet. That's just a meteorite over South America. Wasn't one of the asteroids there, but they've been trying to cover up the ones that have come in. 3 of them hit the Pacific Ocean. 2 of those, one hit down in South America. I don't know what country, whether it's Chile or Peru or Argentina or which country it was in South America. And one hit in Russia. And Russia really has tried to suppress theirs. Now, if you remember, though, Russia had the one that, let's see, I think this is here following. This is just some of the video footage of the one that happened back in 2013 inside of Russia there that really caused a lot of damage in the country. And we know left a massive crater there. It blew out windows. All kinds of things there. A lot of people were injured from that particular asteroid coming in. And I was told that the one that just recently came into Russia was pretty much close to the same size. I don't know if they told me it was a little bit larger or what the case was, but they said that it also rocked Russia as well. But the Russians this time around really wanted to keep it as quiet and hush-hush as they possibly could. And so anyway, there. So what I was told, though, is that what is going on is that they're taking and they're creating a laser grid, and the reason being is because the let's see, I got here to stop. Let's see, to stop. Okay, I'll go into that in just a moment here. The reason for it is because when we're dealing with asteroids, it's very hard to detect asteroids that are smaller, say, than a car. When you get into asteroids that let's say, half the size of a car, whatever the case may be, they become very difficult to actually be able to track. And so what happens is that the government is trying to create. They're trying to actually create a laser grid in order to be able to help track those smaller incoming asteroids and then try to destroy them, try to blow them up. We're using several different technologies from what I've been told. Of course, we've used nuclear bombs on them. We have used lasers. We are trying to dissolve them. We try to push them off course. There's all kinds of things. By the way, this is a Russian video right here talking about these type things as well, and then trying to knock them off course, etc., things like that. And this is what the United States is trying to do. Of course, we work directly with the Russian Space Force, Secret Space Force there. And this particular vehicle is only one of the many vehicles that we have that are up there in outer space and things like that. So it is, like I said, so that particular spacecraft that you saw, that was one of its missions. It was working on the laser space grid that we're creating there in order to be able to detect these smaller objects there. Now, this is another reason why, too, I put up for you. Let me find that article again. I think this one right here. This is on IEEE Spectrum. Experts show how lasers can despin asteroids by turning them into rocks. And of course, the idea there is to land some type of an engine on it, a little rocket there. Then they're able to push that asteroid off course and keep it from actually hitting Earth there. So as it says here, to stop something from spinning in space, you need to impart a force on it that counteracts the spin. When we want to impart the forces on things in space, we slap engines on them, which work pretty well. The most efficient engines that we have to operate by using electrical energy harvested for free from solar panels to accelerate mass in one direction, pushing the spacecraft in another direction. We could use this technique for asteroids as well, except that we'd need to get the engines onto the asteroid somehow and then top them up with impractical amount of reaction mass. Now, the article says that, but in reality, we already do that. And that's something that they're not telling you. Our technology is much further along. And yes, we are able to land rockets on there and try to nudge these asteroids out of the way. But we're also using lasers to try to destroy them. And there has been a new type of device that's been developed just recently. It's another type of laser type of technology that also they would want to use in order to be able to destroy these asteroids. So, and mainly, I used to really talk about this a lot about a year and a half ago or so, about 2 years ago. That time frame was delayed. A lot of the scientists that I know didn't quite understand why we've had a delay on these incoming rocks, things like that. But then there's a lot of them too. Like I've said, our technology is so much more advanced. We destroy them, we move them, things like that. Now Paul has actually gotten a lot more into that on his program there with Mike from around the world. They've been talking a lot about these incoming rocks, things like that. And I do want to say, though, to you, because I know that Mike from around the world really talks about the catastrophic events and things like that, much the way that I was talking about this year and a half, 2 years ago. But always remember, and I don't know if Mike goes into this on Paul's program there, though, we do have a lot of capabilities, destroying them, moving them, etc. So it doesn't always have to be all the doom and gloom. We do have a lot of capabilities that a lot of people are just not aware of. So, keep that in mind. And this particular Boeing project here was one of those such projects. Like I said, creating the grid, the laser grid, is what this particular spacecraft had been up there so long for, was creating that laser grid up there in order to be able to help track these smaller asteroids that we're having a very difficult time of tracking. Anyway, listen, I'm going to be getting into another message here on Patreon with you about the object that was discovered behind the sun. That's going to be a shocker for many of you. I also found out what that object is suspected to be. So I think you'll find that one also interesting. Listen, we're going to jump over to Israeli News Live. We're going to talk about what's going on over in Ukraine, Kherson, things like that. Hope you'll join us over there. And thank you for subscribing here on Patreon. And like I said, we've got more videos to come and more interesting things to share with you. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun. You're watching Israeli News Live.